Tasmania is an island state just to the south of the Australian mainland. Our trip around Tasmania will start from Launceston and we'll head up onto the north coast and spend the first night at Stanley. From there we'll head back to Burnie and head south down to Zeehan and into Strahan, where we'll stay for a few days. From there we'll head back through Queenstown, past Lake St Clair, New Norfolk and into Hobart. And from Hobart we'll head back up north around the Great Lake, and for the next couple of days we'll spend some time travelling through some of the old towns like Campbelltown and Ross and up to the north. It's a very calm day for Bass Strait. Nice view round to Table Cape from Somerset. And there is a lighthouse at Table Cape, not surprising when you look back to the east. You can see right along the coast, and also from the west you see right round to Rocky Cape. On the way around the Rocky Cape there's a nice little beach and little settlement of Boat Harbour. We reached Stanley in the mid-afternoon and went for a walk up the main street. And crossing the road, we can head back along the higher road where a lot of the old houses from the mid-1800s. This house was the birthplace of Joseph Lyons, one of the Australian Prime Ministers. Down on the foreshore, you can see the old bond warehouse and also the storage. And above the town is a large rocky outcrop called the Nut. And along the top of it there is a walking track about 2 kilometres long. Something to do in the morning. Next morning the weather's not terribly promising, not too many going up. And at the top there's a reading room that tells you that the Van Diemen's Land Company was granted 350,000 acres of land. Up top there's a nice view back down along the main street. The track is quite level and well formed up on the top. There are some nice little sheltered areas where there's a bit of vegetation. As we walk around we can see down to the boat harbour and round to the wharfs where the coastal ships come in. We spent the rest of the day driving down to Strahan through the rain. Not a particularly pleasant trip, but it did start to clear when we got to Strahan. The purpose of coming here was to take cruise boat which will take us out through Hell's Gates to have a look at how hard it was coming in. Then it'll bring us back along past some fish farms down to Sarah Island, where we'll have a tour of one of the first convict settlements. From there we'll head up the famous Gordon River for a walk through the World Heritage before returning back to Strahan.
Our journey today is going to
Reach the entrance to Hell's Gates, and there's lots of lighthouses. And the lighthouse keeper's house is still only water access. It's been very desolated in the 1800s. And the actual entrance is only 60 meters wide. There's a very big current running, and it's flat today. There could be big seas coming in here. Halfway down the bay we come to some of the fish farms. And from there we head on to Sarah Island. During the settlement time here, there was completely denuded of trees, and they also increased the size by laying down logs and boulders and putting gravel over it to make the island bigger. But because there was no shelter, they had to build a fence that was up to 6 meters high in places. This is all that remains of it. The Round Earth company guys did a great job on the tour, talking about the kitchen for the commandant, the lime kiln, and where these ferns are, there used to be barracks, and over on the shore there are upwards of 100 convicts buried. Soon it was time to get back on board the boat. Heading around Grommet Island for the Gordon River. The Gordon River was the site of big fights for preservation in the 1970s. It's now part of the World Heritage and a beautiful area. We went for a walk along a boardwalk that put in. Shows you how rugged this country was. And of course the area is famous for its hewn pine. This one is the root of one which is over 1,000 years old. And that's what they were looking for, the big trees. They could make a lot of money. The piners. Today, nature is taking back. We also took a short walk, over a kilometre, into Hogarth Falls. It's a very easy walk, well-formed track, and beautiful surroundings. Very nice falls. From the main falls, continues down with a few little rapids, and then on to no little falls and into a pool. We reached Lake St. Clair, and this is the visitor centre and also the Lake St. Clair Lodge. It's the end of the overland walk. This lake is man-made. It's one of the deepest, about 600 feet deep. I might have time today to do a short walk around the Platypus Bay and back around the Aboriginal Heritage Trail. We come up to an intersection and we'll come back in from the left here when we're finishing our walk, but we'll head straight on for now. We came to where this tree had fallen over and just cut a clear part in the track. I worked out it had to be around at least 500 years old. We come to another intersection on the bridge, and this bridge is crossing over the Hewell and Covier rivers, actually at their confluence. Quite a pleasant walk up around the hill, and I've put some hides in so you can, in the early morning and late afternoon, you can view the platypus. I walked on round to Platypus Bay, nice little sandy beach. And just lying at the edge is an old punt which is used during the creation of the hydroelectric schemes which made this lake. The sign is simply advising you not to walk on the old punt. We come back around, cross over the bridge, and then head up the Aboriginal Heritage Trail along this boardwalk. A couple of the longer walks head off from here across the river. Isn't this a beautiful specimen? These information boards tell a very sad story about the ending of a nation by disease and murder. We headed up the next day up to the Great Lakes. They certainly live up to their name. There are several fishing lodges in this area. Later on the day we arrived at Liffey Falls. It's a beautiful walk in through the forest. We were here about 40 years ago, and we thought we'd better come back and have a look at it again. It's interesting, a little fern growing on a tree fern trunk. The falls themselves are superb. Unfortunately, not much water going down this time. we continue to visit some of the little colonial towns. This is Campbelltown. In fact, this was the original courthouse. The Red Bridge was a brick bridge built by convicts, which takes us down to Ross. It still carried 1.2 million vehicles a year and has never required maintenance. Late on our last afternoon, we decided to visit the Cataract Gorge. And because of time constraints, we took the chairlift across the river to walk back via the suspension bridge on the left hand side. Nice view up the very rugged gorge. And so our little holiday in Tasmania came to the end. Time to head for the airport.